from Everyday Property Investing, and I've got a fantastic friend of Everyday Property Investing back on the show again. Jane Slack-Smith, how are you today?
I'm great, Kaz, and yourself?
I'm very well, thank you. Now, for those of you who don't know, and that's rare in the Everyday Property Investing community because we all know you, Jane. You've actually have a strong background in investing. You've built yourself up quite a substantial portfolio. You've used renovation as a key strategy, which is something we love to talk about here.
Yes.
You've also been named as Money Magazine's one of top 10 finance experts by Money Magazine. That's pretty impressive, Jane.
I know. I was surprised in the company that I was included in. It was a bit of a shock, to be honest.
I know, and we always talk about your Mortgage Broker of the Year vote as well. That's always
something to be proud of.
Exactly right. So you're a woman of many talents, and we've had you on the show a number of times. We've talked about investment, we've talked about loans, we've talked about renovation, and we've talked about your course. And once again, we're going to touch on those really important topics for our audience today.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk a little bit about how things have changed in the world of renovating and renovating for profit.
Yeah.
And stick around because we're also going to talk about the new video series that Jane has produced, which is absolutely free and talks about renovating for profit in today's market, which is pretty exciting stuff. So, Jane.
Yes.
As we said, you're a friend of ours. You've been on a number of times. A lot of our audience may have heard of you, but some may not. And we've got a lot of new Everyday Property Investing listeners. So maybe you just give us the brief whirlwind tour of the background of Jane Slack-Smith.
Oh, my goodness. Well, very exciting. I guess where it all started for me was looking for financial independence. I had a fantastic job. I was an explosives engineer in the mining industry. I got to run around and blow things up every day, which is a good way of spending the day. But
you sound like my children, Jane. That's what they do.
That's my son too. But yeah, it was. I knew that there was something missing, and I was a bit afraid of property investing until my husband kind of said, it doesn't have to be the bricks and mortar, white picket fence home. You can buy an investment property before you buy a home, and that kind of got me thinking. And so, actually coming up to the 13th anniversary on St. Patrick's Day, 2014, of buying my first property, and did that with a really small deposit, the lifetime savings that I had all at the age of 29, and bought the property. Basically, did a renovation, bought it with a strategy. I was an engineer. I looked at risk assessment every day. I applied that to property investing, created a strategy and a process, found the property, bought it for $425,000, did a renovation that cost $50,000, and 9 months later it was worth $700,000. So increased the equity by $225,000 for that property. So that became the launching pad to go and buy the next property using equity from that one and renovating, and then the next one and the next one and the next one, and building up a very large portfolio, which has got me where I am today.
Awesome. That's fantastic. So you sort of started out very strategically, which is really great, because I started out quite the opposite, I think. I just bought randomly and thought I was doing something really cool, and then looked back and went, that probably wasn't the best purchase I've ever seen. But you went into it straight away with strategy. How did you do that? Like, did you have someone showing you the way?
I was, probably like most people, I was really untrustworthy of all the glittering lights and the big talkers out there saying, trust me, and I didn't know who to trust. And in the end, I found Jan Summers' book, which I think is probably the Bible of Australian property investing, building wealth through property. And she just had some really simple techniques of, be strategic, get it right the first time. I went to all the 2-hour free seminars that I could, and I found that they were pretty much, blah, blah, saying the same thing, but most of them had some, and this is how I lost my money, and I became more focused on all the mistakes they made, and then I put in a strategy around how not to make the same mistake, because I thought, well, that just shows fool me if I'm replicating the mistakes that others have told me that they've made. So I guess my strategy was, let's get it right the first time. I've got one deposit that I can use on this, and if I get it wrong, I'm going to be set back for years. And I mean, you and I both have dealt with many property investors over the years, and the stories that you have of people who've just been, bought randomly and hope for the best, kind of like the hope strategy, is one that's so prevalent. And I just didn't want to be making that same mistake.